we talked about the four P's. Prabal talked about new four P's, but there are conventional P's that will remain: the products and the associated things like pricing and performance and stuffs like that. So we will always have in medtech discussion about new products, new product categories that will drive growth and progress in future. And this pandemic has shown that new thinking is creating ideas of new products. I will ask Satish of from Philips to talk a little bit about this. Philips, I think your global slogan itself is on innovation. So, would you like to share with the audience and the panelists, Satish, something on this topic? About what do you think are the new directions that product generation will take to
Thanks,
address the
Anjana.
needs
First
of
and
future?
foremost, a big thanks to you and Praxis for organizing this event. And it's great to see an outstanding panel discussing this. Some very important things that we need to probably debate among the industry as a whole. I think I'll pick it up from where Shravan started off saying that what's happening today is probably, and what Prabal added to it as well, is what would have probably happened in 10 years is now happening in the next 2 years.
Good
We
point.
always knew that the consumer is taking more power out there. The it is no more the patient. It is before he becomes a patient, he's actually trying to control his own health and wellness as a whole. And that's a space I think, in my viewpoint, Anjan, is the one that will grow the fastest.
Health and
Because
wellness.
because now people are aware about not just the importance of health, but also not to land up into a hospital.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
they are the objective for them today is how do I stay healthy and stay outside the hospital?
Sure.
And how can I minimize my entry into the hospital space, so to say, and devices, and it could be kind of a Fitbit, advanced, etc., whatever you might call it. The connectivity of hospital to home are the devices that will go in a big way, right? So that's the piece number one that will come in. Second, I think in terms of data, I think we still have so many people carrying so many paper reports from diagnostic centers to this lab to that lab, etc., happening. Um, in my personal view, over the next few years, at least some people will be able to put all their at least their personal health records, etc., in one consolidated place. So they are not moving with the physical paper reports. They're probably having some kind of an access, whether that will become on a mobile or a tab or somewhere, is definitely going to happen. And the third one, I will look at it outside the industry, right? Not just, but a very critical part of this, how this industry will get shaped. That's already started happening. Is insurance has been paying only if you got admitted 24 hours in a hospital. Now they also got tested in this period of COVID, where they had to come out of their paradigm of saying that you have to be admitted to a hospital for me to make a payment. They started kind of reimbursing the home treatment out there.
Sure.
I think that piece will be the important one that's also going to change and shape how the healthcare is being seen. Because today, if I look at it, mostly health, when we talk about treatment, we talk about 70% in hospital.
Sure.
Wellness is outside the hospital space. I think that is going to flip over next 8 to 10 years, where people will talk about episodic care happening in hospital, but 70% of your healthcare spend and wellness spend happening outside the hospital. And those devices, those technologies are the one that will drive the future.
Sure. What do you think? What is Philips doing on training? What are the new things, new needs that have come up? So some quick headlines from your side and anything on business models also, innovative business models.
Sure. So Anjana, let me take training in two parts to it. And I think I'll pick it up from what Vivek Kanade started off by saying that it was almost impossible to think that you will get away with your 60% space.
Absolutely.
And today everybody talks about a hybrid model. Similarly, if you remember, this meeting would not have happened, right? This would have been maybe an in-person kind of a conversation where after the meeting we'll probably have coffee. Today
Yep.
we'll have probably a virtual coffee. Right?
Indeed.
So I think there are two things that are going to change in the training space as well. From purely from a short-term perspective, I think the virtual is out here to stay. It is not a fad that's going to go away after COVID or anything like that in the next 6 months, 12 months, whatever. So this trend of imparting training will continue in this model is very clear. Which also means now that the national boundaries, the state boundaries, etc., will go away. Which means that if I need to kind of listen into and tune into it, I would probably 2 years back would be hesitant to look at what the US guys are saying, except for a few people. Now that national boundaries, etc., have kind of blurred completely. Those things have gone away. Having said that, there is a important part in a training element is the hands-on piece of it, right? That hands-on piece will get into a hybrid model very clearly, and it will not be fully digital either. If you need to know how to touch the program, you need to put that one. That will continue. But clearly, the fact that you'll be moving into digital part of it is going to bring in a lot of efficiencies in the training program. Your cost of training people will go lower, and the fact that AI will start building up more and more, the ability to train an average surgeon or an average physician to a higher level will definitely go up. So the training will not be just about the surgical technologies, but it's also about how do I use the equipment better now.
Sure.
That those are the things that I would look at from a training perspective that's going to change. And that would mean that the lower, let's say we need to kind of have a very highly qualified clinical staff. That will be valued, but there will be a lower qualified clinical staff, which might be far more effective than it has been in the past. The second part of it in terms of business model, Anjita, in my viewpoint, what's going to happen is a lot of innovation when they are coming in. They will come with a certain promise that I'll be probably able to lower your cost of care. Now, the customers are going to demand that if that is the case, you need to put your skin in the game, which means pay as I use along or deliver me the efficiencies that you do along. So, for example, like if you remember that when LED came in the lighting side of it, the whole model changed, saying that show me the efficiency of LED and pay it from that, and I'll pay you as we go along. So I think that from a business model innovation perspective, I think there's a lot more that will happen. The technology will also evolve towards more software-driven innovation, not just the hardware saying that I've got a higher speed, etc., and all that stuff. So those are the two things that I would say around that.